I get it, you're staring at a stack of UPS options and wondering if you're about to drop money on something that will sit on a shelf, or if this unit will actually keep your workstation, router, and maybe a small server alive when the lights flicker. You've probably already heard the hype about double conversion and sine wave power, but you also know that a bad UPS can be a costly false security. So before you click Add to Cart, let's walk through what the Eaton Tripp Lite series SmartOnline 1500VA actually does in a real-world setup and whether it aligns with the kind of protection you really need. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the biggest thing that sets this model apart is the true online, double conversion design. That means the UPS never feeds your devices directly from the wall. It constantly converts incoming AC to DC, charges the batteries, and then inverts it back to clean AC. The result is a flawless sine wave output that looks exactly like the power from a lab-grade source. For a home office where a sudden sag or spike could corrupt a spreadsheet or interrupt a video call, that smoothness can feel like insurance you actually understand. Now picture a typical small business or power-hungry home office. You have a desktop PC, around 300W, a monitor, a network switch with a few PO cameras, maybe a NAS for backups, and a router. All of those devices together sit comfortably under the 1350W rating of this unit. Because the UPS has 8 outlets, you can plug the whole core of your setup into the same box without hunting for spare power strips. The outlets are split between battery-backed and surge-only, so you can reserve the battery-backed ones for the devices you really can't afford to lose your NAS and router, for example, while still protecting the monitor and speakers from surges. One of the strengths that often goes unnoticed until you need it is the network management card option. If you install that optional card, the UPS becomes visible to your IT monitoring software via SNMP, letting you see load, battery health, and runtime from a central console. In a small server room, that remote visibility means you can set up email alerts before a battery failure becomes a downtime event. If you're just a solo freelancer, you can still hook the USB port into your computer and let the Eaton Intelligent Power Manager software log events, automatically shut down applications, and even run scripts when the battery reaches a critical level. The LCD display on the front gives you a quick glance at key metrics: current load percentage, input voltage, battery charge, and estimated runtime at the current load. In practice, that's handy when you're in the middle of a long rendering job and the power flickers. You can see at a glance whether you have enough juice to finish the task or whether you need to hit save and shut down. The display is basic, no fancy graphs, but it's clear and it updates in real time. Let's talk about the hidden trade-offs. Because the unit is always converting power, it draws a small amount of energy even when the grid is perfect. For most users, that extra wattage isn't noticeable on the electric bill, but in a data center environment, it can add up. The 3-hour recharge time is respectable for a 1500VA unit, but it assumes you have a stable main supply after the outage. If you live in an area where blackouts can stretch beyond an hour, you'll want to consider an extra battery pack or a UPS with a longer runtime. The unit's form factor, 2U rack or tower, means it fits neatly in a server rack, but it also takes up a bit of floor space if you go the tower route. It's not a bedside nightstand UPS, so plan for a dedicated spot. Another practical limitation is the power ceiling. At 1350W, the UPS can handle a typical desktop and networking gear, but it will struggle with a high-end gaming rig that pushes 600W just for the GPU, let alone a workstation with multiple GPUs or a large workstation-class CPU. If your primary concern is keeping a gaming PC alive for a few minutes, you might be better off with a cheaper line interactive UPS that offers more outlets at a lower price point. The Eaton's strength is protecting equipment that is sensitive to power quality, not delivering massive backup for power-hungry GPUs. Who should actually buy this? If you run a small office, a home studio, or a personal server that stores critical data, the clean sine wave output and the ability to monitor remotely are genuine value adds. Creative professionals who rely on long rendering jobs will appreciate.